And then I just want to make sure you guys do you see the record up at the top of your screen? I know on a phone you do. Okay, perfect. That's like my biggest fear, is it not recording.
Yep, it is.
Thank you. All right, 7 o'clock, so I will get started here. So I'm Megan Valent. I am doing my presentation on leading by example. I already said it, pretty sure you guys already heard this, but just keep yourselves muted, and then if you want to say something, definitely chime in on anything that I'm saying, just unmute yourself. So we will start here. So leading by example. So the meaning of leading by example: to act in ways that show others how to act, defines what leadership traits separates those who are leading from those who follow. Obviously, we all kind of have heard this in our lives and we know what it means, but those are the exact meanings of it right there. Okay, so 10 ways to lead by example. Take responsibility. So be that person that if you mess up, you're like, hey, I messed up. I'll be the first to say it. Be truthful. You never want to lie, because most of the time it comes out anyways if you lie. Be courageous. Acknowledge failure. Same thing, take responsibility. If you fail, let people know, and then just don't let it happen again. Be persistent. So don't give up. Keep pushing to what you want and what your goal is as a leader. Create solution. So if there is a problem, come up with something to make it better or to accomplish it. Listen. This is probably one I have to work on too. It's just listening to the whole situation before you're chiming in or before you're judging. Delegate liberal. So delegate it evenly throughout your team. Take care of yourself. Obviously, if you're sick all the time, you're not really leading by example. So make sure you're eating healthy, drinking water, taking care of yourself. And then the last one on that list is roll up your sleeves. So that means, I think that's the biggest thing is leading by example, is you have to roll up your sleeves and get dirty, right? You have to be out there actually doing what you want people to do that you're trying to lead. You have to get out there and set a good example on that. Does anybody have any comments on those? They're kind of straightforward. And when you think about leading by example, all those on the list and what a leader is, right? All of those things defines leadership too. All right, so I'm going to show a little video real quick, a quick clip. Let me know if you know what movie this is from. It's an example of, and of course, just touching up here, example of a horrible boss that does not lead by example. All right, here we go.
Martin, can I speak to you? Yeah, sure. What is it? You know, for months you've been hinting that I was in line for that promotion. And look how hard you've been working. Just lying to me? Lying? No. Nick, motivated. I mean, look, we're all part of the same team here. Plus, you know, I'm the one who's going to be doing all the extra work. You know, last month you made me work so late I missed saying goodbye to my Gam Gam.
So as you can see in that clip, Jason Bateman came in on the weekend, worked extra hard, and his boss didn't. His boss was out, I think, playing golf in the movie. Does anybody know what movie that was? No one? No one knows what movie that is?
Horrible Bosses.
Oh, nice. One or two? One.
I didn't know there was a sequel.
Yeah, there is. You have to watch it. No, there's a second one. So it's a really good movie.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a really good movie to watch because it shows you how horrible your boss is. So if you think your boss is bad now, watch that movie and compare those bosses. There's three different bosses, and they actually come up with a plan to try to actually kill their bosses, and then it just kind of all falls apart and all works out. But there is a second one. It is really good. But as you can see in that clip, you have an employee that's working really hard for his boss, and his boss is getting all the credit but taking those weekends off and taking those vacations. And then obviously the Graham thing's just kind of the funny part of the movie. So who leads by example in your life? Do you? So I'll start it here. So I've worked in TV for about 10 years, and when I worked at the television station in Denver, Colorado, I definitely led by example with my work. So I would put in the extra work with the products that I put on air. Now, was I the best employee about always wanting to be there? Probably not. And probably using my sick days too much? Probably, because I was 22, 23 living in Denver. Like, who wants to be at work? But with my product that I put on air, it was leading by example, because then I expected more out of other people. But also I was the lowest one on the totem pole there. Now as a coach, it's harder because you're pushing these girls, but then they've kind of never seen you play. So I've been through everything. I coach softball. I should have said that first. So I push them, but then they also have to see how I grew up and how I played before, and that's kind of hard sometimes. But the other day at practice, I actually got to play with them, and I coach our outfielders, so I try to get them to dive if anything's close. And I actually dove for a ball, and so it was like, hey, like, I'm doing it, you guys can do it. So I was leading by example by not letting that ball drop and actually laying out for it and showing them, hey, like, you guys got to do this too. If I can do it at my age, you guys can do it younger. So I just want to ask you guys, do you guys have any stories about your bosses that maybe didn't lead by example, or maybe you too? Like, no judging. When I was younger, I was awful at like being a leader, but now that I've grown older and actually understand it, I've gotten a lot better. So I'll open the floor. Does anybody want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I had some bosses that lead by example, and also bosses that haven't, and it does really make a difference, because when the bosses that don't lead by example, it almost seems unfair when you're held accountable for stuff that they don't themselves do. It almost kind of lose respect for them a little bit.
Yeah, because you get angry because they're getting all the credit, but you're doing all the work. And it's like, I've had so many bosses like that. And it gets to a point that you just don't want to be there, and you don't want to try because it's like, well, they're not doing anything. And that's why we got to get to that point where we're in charge so we can actually lead by example and lead our teams how we want them to be led, and showing examples, getting out there and actually helping them and do the work.
I also wanted to add too, like, the bosses that do lead by example, like, it's very motivating, and it's like, dang, like they're doing a great job doing what they need to get done, and like I need to keep up with them.
Yeah.
Let the boss like outshine me.
Have you guys ever, when you're looking at jobs, looked at, I think it's called Glassdoor, something like that, and it actually talks to you, like, you can write about old jobs, so you can see like if the company is really good. And I love reading those because it will tell you if the boss is good. And then you see it at companies too, like if they're not hiring and they don't have that much turnover, that means they're doing something right. So companies that have a lot of turnover, something obviously isn't working, either with management or the job itself, obviously. But Glassdoor is pretty cool, where you can go in and like people will write about their experiences at that job, and you could see, hey, is this going to be a good boss, or is this going to be a good fit for me? But anybody else? Anybody else have any examples?
Yeah, I'll dive in. Yeah, leading by example. I've had bosses that just dump on you, right, and don't actually practice what they preach. But the bosses that do are inspirational, and so my current boss tends to do that, right? He just kind of like dumps stuff on you, and he, is a bit contradicting at times. And so I've made a vow to not do that with my people. Roll up my sleeves, as you say, and get into the trenches with them and actually get the work done. And I find that you get a lot more production out of those people, because they say, oh, my boss is right here with me, and is, doing the spreadsheets and going to the meetings and raising the difficult questions that, make the room go silent, when you're at some of these agencies. And so, yeah, it's huge, and it really does wonders to motivating the team and inspiring them.
Yeah, no, thank you. That reminds me of a story. So like I said before, I worked at a TV station in Denver. I actually worked there twice. Once, like I said, when I was 23, 24, and then again when I was 29. And my boss, when I was first there, was amazing. Like, I had to work weekends, and I hated working weekends, but I would use my vacation days mostly on weekends to go travel and do stuff. And he never complained. He was there on the weekends to fill in for people. He was there if somebody was sick. He was there on the weekends just to help out when we needed it with breaking news. And then when I went back, he unfortunately passed away. So when I went back, there was a new boss, and he just wanted to allow time off on the weekends. He'd be like, nope, we got to find somebody else to fill in. And he didn't lead by example with that. He wouldn't work extra hours. He was set on, he worked his 40 hours and he was out. Or my old boss led by example. He would do the hard work that maybe some of us don't want to do. He would work those weekends, which it sucks working weekends. We all know that, but it has to be done. All right, so on to the next slide here. So just lead by example. If you want something to be done and you expect being a leader and expecting people that are following you, help them out. Be with them on the grind. Like you said, roll up your sleeves. All right, this last video is really good, so I hope it works. It is a little long here, but it definitely inspired me. So let's listen in here. So I don't know about you guys, but I gotta play it out because this music just pumps me up, right?
Yeah, I think I was having some trouble. I couldn't hear the audio on my end, Megan.
Did anybody else hear it? Could you guys hear it or no? Yes, no. You couldn't
Yeah,
hear it at all?
I think it's not coming through.
You can't hear it at all?
No, I think it's maybe a bandwidth issue,
Hey guys. I'm at my mom's house. Oh, sorry, the chat was blowing up. Yeah, I will email it to you guys. I said right in the chat, and then I'm always right in the chat, and I'm so bad at looking at it. I will send it to you guys because it's really good. So what it talks about is Gandhi. We all know who Gandhi is, learned about him in school, obviously. This mom comes to Gandhi and says, my son needs to stop eating sugar. If he doesn't stop eating sugar, he's going to die, the doctors tell him. So Gandhi says, come back in 2 weeks. So she's like, okay, Gandhi's going to fix him, make him all better. Gandhi comes back and 2 weeks, or the kid and the mom come back in 2 weeks. And Gandhi talks to the mom, and the mom's like, wait, why did I have to wait? And he's like, well, I stopped eating sugar too. And then he helps the little boy stop eating sugar because he led by example by stop eating sugar. So I will send it to you guys because it's a lot better than me, obviously, explaining it. Let me just try one thing to see if we can hear it here. You guys still can't hear it? Still can't hear it? No. That's a bummer. I knew something was going to go wrong in this. I will send it to you guys. I'm sorry about that. It is really good. So we'll keep moving here. Obviously, my works cited. And then it's kind of the end. Like I said, the video is really inspirational, especially at the end. So I will send it to you guys because it kind of makes the whole presentation, so that sucks that it doesn't work. Do you guys have any questions, any thoughts, anything else you want to add?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. No, I just appreciate you tying everything together in the whole leading by example. Just in my life personally with my bosses, the one that I used to have was one that would, hide and you'd never really see her. She'd take every Monday off. You can really feel the disconnect when you have a boss that doesn't have that presence versus someone who does roll up their sleeves and they're there. My current boss, she very much is active with everything. If somebody's out, she'll be there and take their place if she needs to. And you can really feel the difference in attitude among the employees. And it's, I really appreciate you bringing that up as well.
Yeah, it's huge with the leadership classes. It's just a reminder, hey, lead by example. And you might not have learned anything tonight with this, but I hope it pumps you up to remember, because sometimes I forget and I get, yelling at kids and stuff. And it's like, wait, I need to lead by example too. I need to show them because so they don't get mad like, oh, she's just yelling at us. So I just hope it pumps you guys up in your lives to actually lead by example, because sometimes we forget about that and just get going and forget like, hey, I need to show the people that are following me that I've put in the work too, and I'm there to help them. Anybody else?
One thing I really liked was that you talked about the taking care of your body and food and all those things, because I feel like we can often forget about that as leaders. We're trying to do the most and be the most and forget to sleep or don't make time for things like that. So thanks for including that part.
Yeah, of course. Let me jump off here real quick. I'm going to get this link for you guys because this video is so good that I need you guys to see it here. Let me just copy it. I'm going to put it in the chat here. Let's see. Get back. Give me 1 second and then we will wrap it up. I just want you guys to see this. Okay, it's either that one or let me pull the other one. That might be the thing for horrible bosses. And it's hard too. I've had a lot of jobs actually in my life, and sometimes you get really good bosses and then other times it's awful. And it really does suck when you have a bad boss. All right, so if you guys want to copy those over, I'll also email them to you. Back here. All right, you guys, I think we're all set then. I hope you check out that video because, like I said, it is really inspirational about Gandhi. And then at the end, he kind of explains, and then there's like pump up music. So I'm bummed it didn't work. Dang internet. You would think by 2019 we'd have good internet, but I am in Red Bluff. So I am all done then, you guys. Thank you guys for watching and listening to me, and I hope you guys have a great night.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Megan. Nice job.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Bye.
Megan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come on, computer.